The Saints are a remarkable 10-1 with a Thursday night test at Dallas up next. So who's been the most improved player on defense? Mike Detillier weighs in. Plus, Tulane becomes bowl eligible with a gamble on Saturday. LSU loses in crushing fashion in 7 overtimes after some questionable calls. Nichols wins its first playoff game in more than 3 decades, and Southern wins the Bayou Classic. A battle of division leaders is looming Thursday night in Dallas. Right now, the Saints are the #1 seeds in the NFC. The Cowboys are #4. I'm Doug Mouton. Welcome to 4th Down on 4. So what do you think happens in Dallas? That's our 4th Down on 4 poll question, and we're giving you 3 choices. Will the Saints win big? Will the Saints win close? Or will the Cowboys pull the upset? Vote now on our mobile app or our website, WWLTV.com/vote. Ricardo LeCompte now looks ahead to the Cowboys and back at the Thanksgiving night win over the Falcons.
To the end zone. 500. Thomas. He's gone.
13 different players caught touchdown passes from Drew Brees this season.
What a way to do it!
That ties an NFL record. And the players range from high draft picks to the undrafted ones.
It's a true testament to all undrafted players that are out there and guys who are coming up throughout college that, you know, when your opportunity comes, you just have to step up and step up to the challenge. And I think that's something that we all done in this group.
4 of them hauled in scores against the Falcons this past Thursday night. New Orleans, the first team in the Super Bowl era to pull that feat off. The players answering the bell. Plus, it helps having a future Hall of Famer instilling confidence in you.
The best thing about him is that he communicates that to you in a way that you're able to learn how he likes things, especially with the younger players. You know, he works with us a lot, and it goes to show the kind of quarterback that he is.
Come in and need to play a certain role for us. You know, you're expected to play at a certain level, and we're going to prepare you so that you know what to do, and you can go out there and play with a ton of confidence.
Those role players now getting ready to face a really good Cowboys defense. The league's top scoring offense will face the league's 4th-ranked scoring defense. Dallas also ranks 8th in total defense.
They fly around. They're very well coached, very disciplined. You know, they're taking the ball away. They're just doing all the things that great defenses do, getting pressure on the quarterback, good against the run. I mean, so really in every facet of what you would say is winning football, championship caliber football, these guys are doing it right now.
Sounds similar to what the Saints defense has done of late. New Orleans ascending back to the top of the league and stopping the run, after limiting Atlanta to just 26 yards on the ground Thursday night.
When you put your hand down and in your mind you're saying they're not going to run the ball on you, and then you go out and make it happen consistently, you know, that breeds confidence. Guys knowing what the opponent's going to do. Our coaches being able to put us in the best positions to go out and be successful. And when you add those things in together, you get the type of run defense we're playing right now.
The defense also forced 4 turnovers. That was 4 possessions the Falcons weren't able to score points. Atlanta racked up 366 yards of total offense, but only 17 points to show. And in today's NFL, where 37.5% of drives have ended in scores, the highest mark ever since Pro Football Reference started charting it in 1999, what New Orleans did Thursday night was impressive.
We know what this league has turned into with a lot of the new rules. It's an offensive-based league, offensive-driven. So defensively, all you can do is move on to the next play. The teams are going to get their yards, teams are going to get their points. But as a defense, don't get discouraged. Just move on to that next play. And I think that's what we're great at, and it shows with our numbers.
The numbers there on both sides of the football. And most importantly, they're translating to wins. 10 in a row. The 11th is hopefully waiting for them deep in the heart of Texas.
I'm keeping it.
In Metairie, Ricardo LeCompte, 4th Down on 4.
All right, thanks, Ricardo. Joined by our good friend Mike Detillier from WWL Radio. Look, let's start with Drew Brees. What is it about him this year at 39 do you think has made the difference and made him so much better than he's been the last few?
I think he's mentally tricking people. He is so accurate with his throws, and it's coming out so quickly that he's tricking defensive backs into making a maneuver for the football, and it's a fake move. His mental horsepower is off the grid. And I think that's the big difference. You have a lot of guys trying to cheat on a play, and he's taking full advantage of it. Also, to the balance that maybe wasn't here all the time under this Saints football team. The offensive line has played great, but you got a running game and that best tandem. When you look at Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram, you don't have to make 45 throws in a game.
Right.
And it's taken some of the pressure off of him. But the big difference when you talk to opposing teams and coaches is he's tricking us into thinking he's doing one thing and then he does something else.
Yeah,
amazing.
He's done that a lot. And look, the offense has been great, but the difference really in this team taking a step forward in the last 3 weeks has been the defense has gotten a lot better. Obviously, we've been saying that for years. If the defense could be okay, this team could be a Super Bowl team, and the defense has been better than okay. Biggest differences you've seen in the last 3 weeks or so, I'll start with one. I think Marshawn Lattimore is playing his best ball of the year, playing like last year in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Give me a couple of things that you think have really worked the last few weeks.
No question about it. Cam Jordan is still a stud football player. Lattimore is playing like we saw a year ago. I thought early on that was not the case. But it's also been the step up of Sheldon Rankins getting pressure in the middle. A guy, Ryan Nielsen, remember we did the show in the summer. He said, Mike, I think he's potentially a double-digit sack guy.
Right.
He told me this in June, and he's on the verge of doing that. Also the linebacking core, Demario Davis, Alex Anzalone. Anzalone staying healthy, making plays, and Davis, a guy that just running the field left to right. I think maybe the most underrated guy, though, has been Von Bell. I think over the last 3 weeks, he has done a fantastic job, not only in run support, but also in the coverage part of the game. They're getting something they got in 09. Turnovers. That is the big key. You're not living in your pop's NFL. Teams are going to get a lot of yardage passing the ball, and they're going to score. Red zone defense, I think, has really been the big upgrade over the last couple weeks.
Who's the one team in the NFC that worries you the most going forward?
Rams. Come on, because they got the firepower.
Right.
Look, they can score with you point for point for point. And I think for them, it doesn't really matter where they play, because if they play in the Superdome, they're playing on a fast turf. If the Saints go to L.A., they're going to have more people from New Orleans than they will have from L.A. I mean, it's a different L.A. People don't understand. They don't have that great home field advantage the Saints do. And give Goff a lot of credit. When he played them the first time, he handled the crowd noise very well in the second half when they knew he had to throw the football. I think that would be a great NFC championship game, and I really feel whoever comes out of the NFC, Saints, Rams, they win it all.
That's quite a prediction. We're going to stop there. Mike, hang with us. We want to talk LSU football. We're back with more 4th Down on 4 in a minute. Coming up, we'll head uptown where Willie Fritz gambled and won, and his Green Wave are now eligible for a bowl game. Plus, Texas A&M outlasted LSU after a 7-overtime thriller, but a lot of the calls down the stretch went the Aggies' way. And later, a pair of huge wins by Nichols in the FCS playoffs and Southern in the Bayou Classic.
4th Down on 4 is sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Gulf Coast. Forget Vegas.
Ball on the right hash. There's the snap. McMillan rolls left. He rolls left. He stops. He throws back into the end zone. It is caught! They ran the throwback. It is caught for the 2-point conversion.
Nobody calls it like Todd Graffinini. That's from the Green Wave Radio Network. And that play sends Tulane to a bowl game for the first time under Willie Fritz. And Fritz believes his program did take a significant step forward this season after a dramatic come-from-behind win over Navy Saturday. Andrew Doak was there and reports uptown.
The Green Wave looked poised to cruise to bowl eligibility. Tulane quarterback Justin McMillan accounted for 3 first-half touchdowns. First, a 55-yard score to Darnell Mooney. Second, a 5-yard scramble to pay dirt. And his third, a 52-yard strike to Jabril Cluis. The Wave had a 21-3 lead at the half. Then, it all started to unravel.
There's a few guys that started to panic a little bit.
Navy reeled off 25 unanswered points, and after throwing for just 26 yards in the first half, they tossed for 178 and 3 passing scores in the second. Tulane starting safety Rod Teamer was knocked out of the game in the first half, and Navy quickly identified that weakness in the deep middle.
Carries into the end zone. Touchdown.
Yeah, it was big losing Rod. He's an excellent football player, and that hurt us. And then Chase Kirshen, got hurt, and they kind of hit us right where he went out, for 3 big plays.
Before Tulane knew what hit him, Navy had the lead 28-21. The Wave took over with 3:38 remaining in the game, and a chance to extend their season was on the line. And McMillan was thinking one thing.
This is what I'm here for, honestly. And, as a quarterback, and that's just, you got to make plays. Those are moments you live for in college football.
McMillan put together a drive of beauty. In 7 plays, number 12 led the Wave 71 yards and capped off the drive with a 26-yard bullet to Jatavian Tolles for a 26-yard score. But the Wave still trailed 27-28. With 1:27 remaining in the game, Tulane had a decision to make. They could either tie the game with an extra point, but with a kicker who just missed a chip shot from 32 yards away the possession before, or they could be gutsy and go for the 2-point conversion and the win.
Coach told me, we're going for a win. We're trying to win the game.
I kind of went over. I already knew I was going for it. I told the AD I was going for 2, and just wanted to make sure I still had that contract, and he said I did. So we went ahead and went for it.
Back, but they're going to go for 2 to take the lead.
It was a play design that completely fooled Navy. McMillan rolled to his left, selling the boot action, while Charles Jones initially fronted as a blocker before releasing late to the corner. And when Jones caught the game-winning pass, no one was within 5 yards of him.
Oh my God, we worked on it every day,
just put that
tirelessly. So, when the ball was in the air, it's kind of like slow motion.
He made a bold decision by going for 2, and it worked out well.
Tulane earned their first bowl eligibility since 2013, and their first under head coach Willie Fritz. Under Fritz, the program has grown, but in one fashion, he was most proud of this season.
It looks like we've kind of gone from 4 wins to 5 wins to 6 wins, but we've really gone, I think, from 1 conference win to 3 conference wins to 5 conference wins. So we can do some good things here at Tulane. We just got to keep building on this.
And a trip to the postseason is a solid step in the right direction. From Uptown, Andrew Doak, 4th Down on 4.
All right, thanks, Andrew. LSU, meanwhile, now waits a week for its bowl assignment. The Sugar Bowl is off the table, but a New Year's Six bowl isn't. LSU and Texas A&M played 7 overtimes. The unbelievable final, Texas A&M 74, LSU 72. It'll go down as one of the wildest games in NCAA history. The 5th 7-overtime game had more points than any other and more controversial calls, all of which seemed to go against LSU. But for Ed Orgeron, this one stands out. He does not believe A&M spikes the ball in regulation. The Aggies were driving, hoping to tie the game, and the clock runs out. Of course, the refs put 1 second back on the clock, and the Aggies would get the tying score. But Orgeron believes that was wrong.
That 1 second should have never been put back in that clock. That's the way it is. And I'm going to stick to that.
Mon, trouble with the snap, almost went down to a knee, and that ball is picked off. It's Delpit.
2 Aggie turnovers would have also ended the game. First, Kellen Mond clearly goes to one knee, but is he off of that knee when he picks up the ball? On the field, the play continued. Grant Delpit got the game-ending interception, but of course, that call was reversed, and the A&M drive continued. The other call, this sure looks like a catch and a game-ending fumble from the Aggies' Jay Sternberger. Again, it was a turnover on the field, reversed on replay.
I thought the guy caught it and ran with the football, and he fumbled it. They said it wasn't. Now look at the film. I thought he caught it and was running with the ball.
I got to look back at that. I don't know if his knee was down when I picked off. Was it a fumble, like when I hit him tight end? We got to look back and see all that stuff. So.
Plus, this is a phantom pass interference. It led to the game-winning 2-point conversion. That is a judgment call on the field, and it was wrong. The game should have gone to an 8th overtime. But lost in all the controversy was a great performance from Joe Burrow. He broke LSU's all-time record for total offense in a game with 370 yards. And a New Year's Six bowl game is still possible if the Tigers can stay in the top 12 in the college football playoff poll. The new poll comes out Tuesday. The final poll comes out Sunday. The Tigers were clearly exhausted by the end, and now they'll move on.
We're going to be out on the road recruiting tomorrow. Our guys are going to have time off. We're going to see where this thing takes us. We still have had a very good season. We fell 1 second short of winning 10 games, and then that's the way we're going to approach it.
I'm proud of my team, and I'm proud of the way we fought tonight.
And Mike joins us again. Was there one call in the LSU game that maybe bothered you more? There were a lot of controversial calls. One that bothered you more than the others?
Yeah, the clock. Throwing the ball down with 3 seconds. The spike at the end. Yeah, spike at the end of the regulation. I've been to those coaching clinics and also referee clinics where they're explaining you the rules. Ed's correct. They're telling him, and they told us in the media, you can't do it with 3 seconds or under. Then they changed the rules. In essence, this isn't a conspiracy against LSU. It's incompetence. Plain and simple. We've seen this in the SEC for years. Bad calls, an interpretation of a rule that you telling the coaches and players in the summer is one thing, and then you interpreted another during the season. Doug, it can't happen. Greg Sankey's got to get involved here, and this is a continuous trend. We saw A.J. Brown make a catch in the end zone for Ole Miss. That's a catch. What Sternberger did, hey, all of us know, that's a catch. And the pass interference in the end zone, they stressed to us this year of a contested pass, both going for the football, kind of a little bit of both struggling to get position. That's a non-call.
I thought that was the worst of the calls.
I think the clock at the end was the worst because that's what they're telling you.
Right.
But then again, I think that referee wanted to go home. He had enough of it. 7 overtimes.
I honestly think that played a part. Now, what does this mean for the LSU program? What do you think?
It certainly, I think this year has put them back at a top level. They're not at the elite part yet, but they're at the top. Also, too, I think in very short order, you will see LSU announce a new contract and extension for Ed Orgeron.
Really?
I think it will come very, very soon. That has been in the works now for a couple of weeks, and I do think that they're going to slow down Coach O for a few more years.
Well, we'll see that coming. He's got a great recruiting class coming in. They had a 9-win season. Could have been 10 if it was a tough loss. Mike, thanks for joining us. Great stuff as always. We're back with more 4th Down on 4 in a minute. Still ahead, Tim Rebowe and the Nichols Colonels lost in their FCS playoff opener last year, but not on Saturday, as they got another offensive outburst. And Southern punched its ticket to the SWAC championship game after the Jaguars beat Grambling in the Bayou Classic. Saturday in Thibodaux, the Nichols Colonels got their first NCAA tournament win in 32 years. Now, they'll play again Saturday at 4 p.m. in Cheney, Washington, against third-seeded Eastern Washington, and they'll head there with a ton of confidence, especially on offense.
First play from scrimmage for the Colonels, firing it out to John Pierre.
There were no playoff jitters this year. On their first offensive possession, Nichols went 80 yards in 2 plays. White Castle's Dontrell Taylor up the gut for the score, 7-0 Colonels. Second time with the ball, Dontrell Taylor again. This drive was 71 yards in 2 plays, 14-7 Colonels.
Dontrell Taylor!
Third time with the ball, Rummel's Chase Forcade avoids the rush and gets to the pylon in the first quarter. Nichols had the ball 3 times. They gained 202 yards in just 8 plays.
Our guys came out fast like we have been the last couple weeks, jumped out to a big lead. Offense was rolling and hitting, and defense got enough stops to get off the field.
The Colonels' offense rang up 606 total yards, and Forcade was terrific. He threw for 2 scores and ran for 2. The Toreros of San Diego could not stop Nichols' balanced attack.
We've been consistent and been balanced, and we can go to the guys outside when we need to. They come up with some big plays. It's just good to see him spreading the ball around.
The Colonels now advance to the FCS version of the Sweet 16 with the program's first playoff win since 1986.
I told the guys in there that we did make some history, but I think we'll reflect on it after the season's over, and those guys are going to remember this for a long time.
Tim Rebo's bunch has now rung up 5 straight wins, scoring more than 40 points a game in all 5. The Colonels got to the NCAA tournament last year, but lost in the first round. The program has taken a step forward this year.
The experience of us last year, getting in the playoffs, guys know what they expect and knew how to handle it, so I was just proud of them.
Again, Nichols is at Eastern Washington in round 2 of the NCAA tournament Saturday.
They got to get to Metairie almost to get this.
The backbreaker in the Bayou Classic. Third quarter, Southern up 4, but backed up with a 3rd and 23. When Ladarius Skelton hooks up with Kendall Catalan, it goes for an 80-yard touchdown and an 11-point Jaguar lead.
Big 4th down and 4 for Grambling.
They got a stop on defense, and then Skelton to Randall Menard, and that was it. Southern beats Grambling in the Bayou Classic 38-28. The Jaguars have now won 5 straight and head to the SWAC championship game where they'll play Alcorn State. That's Saturday at 3:30 in Jack Spink Stadium in Lorman, Mississippi. Confidence in the black and gold is high, and it should be. 93% of viewers tonight think the Saints will win Thursday night in Dallas, and more than 3/4 of voters think they'll win big. For producer Danny Rockwell, photographer Adam Ney, Ricardo LeComte, Andrew Doak, and all of us here at Eyewitness Sports, I'm Doug Mouton. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week on 4th Down on 4.
Fourth Down on 4 has been sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Gulf Coast. Forget Vegas.